I'm Phil Bakelaar, and I'm here at the Pilgrimage Church, or the Pilgrim Church.
Pilgrim Church.
Pilgrim Church in Ridgewood. And this is Ruth Dilly. And where are you from, Ruth? Which church are you from?
I'm from the Rockaway Reformed Church in White House Station, New Jersey.
Okay. And so you're here because we wanted to talk about the Pilgrimage School and how you found that to be a positive involvement in the regional synod and in your spiritual life. So maybe you could talk about some of the things you've gone to in that.
I've attended several of their events. I guess I would say the three that I've attended this past winter and spring have found to be very meaningful. The first one, which was sponsored or was provided by the Lombard Mennonite Peace Center.
Yes, the Lombard Center, yeah.
And having, dealt with change and some difficulties with that, and in the church, one of the things that I learned and that the presenter spoke about was, I think, called a belief chart. In essence, being grounded to know what you believe in and being grounded in that, your faith, so that when change comes, you have a basis to a solid footing, so to speak, to be standing on, so that when change comes, you can deal with the change. You're maybe not as upset by the change or as worried or as anxious about it.
So that was the Lombard Center, Mennonite Peace Center.
Yes.
They come and talk about church conflict and how people struggle with change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And found that to be helpful because we all deal with change, whether it's in the church or in our lives or just in society in general.
So Pilgrimage School sponsored them to come out and do a... Now, Ruth, we're going to talk about some other things, but one of the things I'm interested in knowing is you get a lot of invitations to a lot of things. So what made you come to the Pilgrimage School event? What made you come to this Lombard event?
Because of things that were going on in my own church and having dealt with some difficult times, some times of conflict.
So it felt like a need.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
And even some of the other events that I have attended. There was one put on in March. A professor, it's from the Christian Reformed Church, a minister, Kathleen Smith, who's written a book, but she's talked about, the promotion for the event, one of the lines was about the worship wars. And that's also the idea of change and how to traverse, change. Right. How do you move through those times and, come out the other side? And it was some of the essential criteria for worship. And then from that, maybe you can, form a worship service around, but what are the central components that are necessary for worship?
So there's kind of a thread then in what you're looking for. You're looking to be equipped to be an effective person in your own church, and Pilgrimage School has helped you do that. Yes,
very much so. And I found even some of the other events, just some learning, education, some history. Another one that was put on this winter, which was about Reformed history, going back to the Reformation and Zwingli, even Schleiermacher, and having an appreciation for the change that came about, because our roots are in the Roman Church, right, where it was a decision of one, as opposed to what occurred in, I believe it's the Council of Zurich, but the committee, which in essence how we have formed our church government, that even like for the consistory, for the classes, regional synod and general synod, that it's not just one person making decisions, but it is a group, a committee. And one of the things from like Kathleen Smith's workshop that she presented, something that's come out of the Christian Reformed Church, and in her book, she writes about reciprocal leadership, and that's kind of going the other way. And I'd like to see, is there a place for that in our own congregations, our own consistories, congregations?
Yeah, so when you think about your consistory life and your church life, these are all useful things.
Yes, most definitely.
For you. Great.
Yeah.
Good. So, but again, you sound like a person who just likes to go and keep learning things.
True. It is one thing we identified last week about being a lifelong learner.
Lifelong learner. Yeah.
But I think that's part of our journey of faith. That I can remember being young, being even in Sunday school, and you think, oh, one day you're going to arrive, and then you get to be a young adult, and one day you're going to arrive, and then you finally come to the realization that day you arrive is the day you're in heaven. All of life is a learning, a journey, an experience, and there's always something to be learned. The challenges that come to us, that we always need to learn more, and even to grow spiritually, we need to learn more.
So if someone is watching this interview who's never been to a pilgrimage school event or who has never been to any ongoing education, what kind of things would you say to encourage them?
I would think for them to look, what are their needs? What do they need personally, spiritually? What do they need maybe in regard to their life in their local church, their local congregation? I think we all have needs. Our local congregation should be a community of believers, and how do we live that life together as a community? And there are always challenges that come our way.
Yeah, and so I think my experience with the pilgrimage schools, they're very open to hearing about needs and designing courses to go to churches. I know they've done courses in churches that have asked for a particular course as well.
Yes, yeah. I attended one last fall that was in a neighboring church where I live, Reddington Reform, on prayer that, is it Ella Ratmeyer?
Yes,
presented, and found it to be very, very helpful, and had some time there. We were paired up with another person, and to pray for one another, to take time to first listen to one another and their concerns, and then to pray for that person and their concerns. Sometimes that's, in our busy, hectic lives, I wish we would find more time for prayer. Sometimes it's a real challenge.
Right. There is a prayer team in the Synod, and I'm sure they'll be glad to hear that. You know.
Yes, I would be interested in that too.
Yes, good. All right, that's all. Well, thanks for taking time.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
To interview. And we're trying to encourage people to consider making that step of, instead of just knowing about things, to actually attending one and getting involved with the other people there. So.
Yeah, I would hope they would find it to be a valuable experience.
Very good.
I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.